Folks need to understand that if they have boats to take care of down there. And you know, this is going to be hard for the Keys to miss this one. The wave action and the storm surge and the winds, whether it goes a little bit north of them or south of them or right over them, nobody can tell at this time.
All right, Max, we'll be back in touch with you. I'm sure it's going to be another long week. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, back with more in the South Florida forecast in detail in just a few minutes.
All righty, Brian. Breaking news now involving a major shakeup in the quarterback ranks for the Dolphins. Jim Berry has the details. Jim?
All right, guys. Well, quarterback A.J. Feely's Dolphin days are officially over. Just before the NFL trade deadline, the Dolphins have dealt Feely to the San Diego Chargers. In return, they get another third-string quarterback named Cleo Lemon out of Arkansas State and perhaps a sixth-round pick. Feely, of course, came here last year, started for a while, but slumped miserably in the preseason, was demoted from first to third string behind Sage Rosenfels, and so Nick Saban has given up on Feely. He is traded to the San Diego Chargers. Of course, we'll have a lot more coming up at 6 o'clock Sports. Live in the newsroom, I'm Jim Berry, CBS 4 Sports.
Now, a security threat shuts down one of the nation's busiest tunnels. Fire shuts down a landmark bridge in New York City, and a dam in danger of giving way forces a town to evacuate. Tonight, dramatic pictures of triple trouble.
And first, the terror threat that shut down the Harbor Tunnel in Baltimore.
CBS 4's Joy Purdy is here with that and more. Joy.
Maggie, Rob will start by saying the tunnels under Baltimore's harbor are now reopened. But earlier today, that terror alert forced officials to close the Baltimore Harbor Tunnel and the Fort McHenry Tunnel, disrupting traffic on a major East Coast thoroughfare for nearly 2 hours. A federal law enforcement official says authorities have been looking for several men who could be driving vehicles filled with explosives into the tunnel. Another official says the threat was phoned into authorities by someone claiming to have information from overseas. All right, now, fire above New York City's East River when flames break out on the Queensboro Bridge. Thick black smoke could be seen coming from the bridge's upper level. This fire, which shut the bridge down, started in a scaffolding and on a tarp covering it. That upper deck of the bridge, also known as the 59th Street Bridge, was undergoing some restoration work when that fire erupted. And finally, dam danger in Massachusetts. Thousands of residents have been evacuated after fears that a 12-foot-high old wooden dam outside Boston could give way at any time. CBS 4's Allison Harmelin is actually live in Taunton with the very latest for us. Allison.
Good evening, Joy. The good news is the water seems to be receding. I'm about 100 feet from the dam itself, and while 2,000 people remain evacuated at this hour, they're being kept out of town until authorities can be sure it's safe to return. It's holding back tons of water from flooding a town of 50,000 people. The Whittington Pond Dam is not just any dam. This one's historic.
It's a wood structure, and it's over 100 years old.
And is the same one that broke and flooded the town nearly 40 years ago.
In the early hours of Tuesday, the alarm was raised when water from the swollen river was seen going through the Whittington Pond Dam, not over it.
Water going through the dam would indicate that there is some deterioration that has occurred. The question is how much deterioration does exist.
So while authorities and engineers size up the damage about a half a mile away, the downstream downtown of Taunton has been shut down and schools closed. Residents in danger zones were told to evacuate. Some are staying at a shelter set up at the high school.
I lived on the second floor. I didn't think I had to go, but because we're so close to the dam, they said that we had to leave today. Okay. So we had to get out. It was mandated.
The mayor says that most of the residents have heeded the warning and gotten out. The lucky ones, residents on higher ground who haven't been asked to leave yet, are preparing for the worst.
We have everything packed up and ready if they do come knock, but we're just waiting.
Although the city is still in a state of emergency, the good news is that since the dam started leaking, the water level has gone down and the situation hasn't gotten any worse. As a precaution, though, across the rain-soaked state, Governor Mitt Romney has ordered an emergency inspection of all high-hazard dams.
And that was Allison Harmelin reporting to us tonight from just outside Boston.
New health concerns tonight for people who undergo a popular weight loss procedure. Gastric bypass surgery is now putting patients at increased risk of death. And there's more to this story. Details ahead when we open up Dr. Sean's medical file.
Plus, he's an old guy, but he's still very popular. King Tut is coming. Find out how you can get a ticket to the hottest show in town. Also tonight, a burning car, a driver trapped in a race against time to rescue him. We'll show it to you next.
Closed captioning sponsored by City Furniture, now offering same-day delivery 7 days a week.
I think it was a dream. No cell phones, no deadlines, no rush. Was it a dream or a glimpse of paradise?
The Paradise Coast. Naples, Marco Island, the Everglades. One great destination. So many ways to enjoy. Call for your free visitor guide or visit online at paradisecoast.com.
I think it was a dream.
Naples, Marco Island, the Everglades. Florida's last paradise.
I promised.
I promise that Chevy Trailblazer has more standard horsepower than Ford Explorer.
Plus, OnStar and StabiliTrak, a combination Ford and Toyota don't offer. Trailblazer from Chevy.
The #1 selling cars, trucks, and SUVs in America.
Now, lease an 06 Trailblazer LS 2-wheel drive for around $269 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for details.
That's the Chevy Total Value Promise, and it starts right here.
See your Southern Chevy dealers.
Presenting new hefty servant store interlocking plates. One plate can interlock to another to form a storage container to go from table to fridge to microwave and back.
Plates are lids, lids are plates. New hefty servant store.
Every 2 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer.
That's why the Gillette Company has made a corporate commitment to the health and well-being of its local communities. Gillette's website is an important part of this commitment. This website is designed to connect you to the tools you need to learn more about cancer or to help you through your cancer journey. For more information, please log on to GilletteCancerConnect.org. Be sure to pick up these and other Gillette products at your local neighborhood Publix.
Remember, early detection of breast cancer can help save lives.
Sponsored by Gillette, makers of these fine products.
What a weekend.
Good, my skin felt so smooth. No stress. No husband.
It was fun. Thanks for driving. As usual.
Back to reality.
Performance, utility, and envy. SRX. Cadillac. Breakthrough. Visit your South Florida Cadillac dealer for this attractive offer. Residency restrictions apply.
New at 6, living on the lam for 30 years. A fugitive assumes a new identity as a Broward businessman. How he was busted only on 4. The history-making hurricane season. And the rush is on for shutters. How businesses are coping. New at 6.
There's a lot of concern regarding our weather right now. Brian Norcross is in.
I'm in a state of disbelief, Brian, really.
And exhaustion.
Yeah.
You know, I still feel exhausted from Katrina, you know, honestly. But here we go, and we just cross our fingers here that this is not going to be a bad situation for us. But for now, it's just getting increasingly tropical out there, sticking the scale up to 5.5. It'll be up about 7 or 8 tomorrow, I think, as the tropical air pushes in around the hurricane. No rain here today. All right, here we go now on the real-time Doppler 4, and you see this is an outer band, loosely speaking, out on the outside of the circulation from the hurricane, and this is making pretty good downpours across Miami-Dade County right now, and that's going to continue because they're all lined up. And down in the Keys, we have a few more. Now look at the satellite picture, and you can really see the edge of that circulation, and then look in here, and you'll see some very kind of light-looking clouds, but those are actually producing rain too. Watch, you can see the radar on top of it. See the showers come in? You can see it's not widespread at all. It's the very edge, and there is the more dense cloudiness, but as the hurricane lifts north, those clouds are going to increase, so I think by tomorrow it's going to get generally cloudy, and that's going to last us until this thing is gone. Here's the wide view of the circulation. Now you can see once again how big a circulation it is, and there you see the clouds moving in further north, further north, further north. So that is what right now is giving us our rain around here. So the overall weather pattern, of course, is dominated by the hurricane on our coast, but on the west coast, it's dominated by this two-pronged low-pressure system, and those two are going to come together and eventually are going to steer Wilma, but it's going to take a while for that to happen. It'll take all the way until Saturday. So for now, increasingly breezy here in our neighborhood, and you might have noticed it out there today as those little systems come in. They are quite squally. Now here you see the true view for tomorrow, so the clouds increasing. So we'll say lots of clouds and showers blowing through, not raining every minute, but some spots, because you get a line of them, we'll get one after the other after the other. Then to Thursday, getting fairly breezy, just picking up, again, especially in the Keys. So I think Thursday is going to be your day to move your boat and take any action you think that might be, the wind might be a problem. Then on to Friday, the breeze increases. Depends on how far to the west Wilma is. That's what we're uncertain about, but we need to be ready for it to start getting quite breezy late on Friday, and some outer squalls affecting the southern part of the peninsula. And then on Saturday, exactly where it will go, we don't know. But this cold front is coming, and that means much better weather once this is gone. Okay, here's the forecast then in detail tonight. Showers in spots, some of them briefly heavy, about 76 for a low. Lots of clouds tomorrow, and the showers blowing in, sun peeking out now and again, 84. East winds at 15 to 20 knots tomorrow offshore as we get the hurricane closer to us. Same thing, breezy showers on into Friday, and then, of course, exactly what happens over the weekend depends on Wilma. All right, back with more in a few minutes.
Thank you, Brian. Now these pictures you just have to see. A dramatic rescue caught on camera when a driver ends up trapped inside his burning car.
CBS 4's Elliot Rodriguez here with how the man was pulled to safety. Elliot, this one's amazing.
That's right, Rob and Maggie. This happened on the 170 freeway in Southern California. After a multiple car accident, bystanders rushed to the rescue of the man trapped in his burning car.
Hold on. Well, from the back.
It happened in a matter of seconds that meant the difference between life and death. The driver of this two-door Nissan is screaming to rescuers that his leg is pinned under the dashboard as bystanders and a police officer try to pull him out of the burning vehicle on a freeway in Sun Valley, California. Officers used a fire extinguisher to try to put out the flames, but the car kept burning, smoke pouring out of the windows, and 22-year-old Alexis Reynoso kept screaming. It took 4 men pulling with every ounce of strength they could muster to finally pull Reynoso out of the burning vehicle. Reynoso was put on the ground away from the car, which had crashed onto a freeway guardrail during a 5-car accident. The car was left to burn all by itself with no sign that anyone else was inside. Now, Reynoso suffered a fractured pelvis, leg injuries, and smoke inhalation, but had it not been for those good Samaritans, he would have died in that burning car. Elliot Rodriguez, CBS 4 News.
That is incredible, and we have more amazing pictures. Take a look. Mud on the move. A river of mud swallows an entire street in Burbank. You can say it's double trouble for these people. They had just returned to their homes after brush fires forced them out. The mud and debris left the streets impassable in parts, and crews are working feverishly now to clean it up so residents can finally go home.
Now here's Joy Purdy with a look at what's all new at 5:30. Joy?
Rob, it's a change of heart for a former South Florida firefighter fighting to get his job back after he's accused of raping a young man. We'll have this bizarre twist. Plus, the victim relives the nightmare in a CBS 4 News exclusive. Did they kill their kid, or was it a medical disorder? Tonight, 2 different stories pictured in the trial of parents accused of starving their baby to death. A local man is overcome with emotion as crews pull his pets from his burning home. And a popular surgery to help battle the bulge may be more risky than first thought. Those stories and more next at 5:30.
The choice is yours right now at Rec Warehouse. Buy a new spa or billiard table for just $7.77. Take home a 7-foot regulation slate billiard table or a 7-foot super lounger spa for just $7.77. It's your choice. Special financing available. 4 days only at Rec Warehouse.
Next ET, Jag shirtless in the surf. Plus the Commander-in-Chief State Dinner. We're on the set with Gina Davis. And Ed McMahon's new book about Johnny Carson.
What is the one story that you reveal?
Next ET.
Tonight at 7 on 4.
Critics give the new drama close to home an A. Nail-biting cases will keep you guessing until the end.
It has been 3 days since the disappearance of Amy Flynn.
I love her. I wouldn't hurt her. I want an attorney.
You questioned Derek Adler after he requested a lawyer.
Nothing he says from now on can ever be used against him. If Amy is dead, the man who killed your daughter will probably go free.
New drama close to home, CBS Tonight.
Starlight, Starbright, I wish I had a pony.
I wish I could record a whole season of my favorite shows. That's not a star, honey. It's a satellite.
The DirecTV DVR. It's everything a TV lover could wish for. With one touch, you can record your favorite shows or automatically record a whole season. DirecTV knows what you want.
My pony!
Somebody up there loves you. DirecTV. Sign up and get a DirecTV DVR free. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Toyota has
9 vehicles with an EPA rating of 30 or more miles per gallon, like the fun-to-drive Corolla. Or check out hybrid models like Prius with a whopping 60 miles per gallon in the city, or the Highlander with hybrid Synergy drive. Get smart when it comes to fuel economy. Choose wisely. Now get $1,000 cash back or 1.9% financing for 36 months on the 2006 Camry LE. Toyota. Moving forward.
It's the pre-season pool heater sale at Rec Warehouse. Swim year-round for just pennies a day with a 5-ton high-efficiency heat pump for just $18.99. Buy now and get free installation, 0% interest, same as cash financing. Get hot savings on pool heaters right now at Rec Warehouse.
That does it for CBS 4 News at 5. We'll see you again at 6.
CBS 4 News at 5:30 with Joy Purdy and Elliot Rodriguez starts right now.
Now, live. This is CBS 4 News at 5:30.
First at 5:30, your weather station's tracking Hurricane Wilma on the move in the Caribbean. Here we go again, another hurricane, and it is this system we need to watch closely.
Well, that's right. Let's get right out to CBS 4 Chief Meteorologist Brian Norcross. He's live in weather control with what we need to know about Wilma. Brian.
Elliot, the bottom line this afternoon is that Wilma is beginning the intensification process. It's likely to turn into a very strong hurricane. And all indications, based on everything we know, based on the computer models and the forecast of the National Hurricane Center, is that this hurricane is going to threaten the state of Florida, likely the southern part of the state, somewhere south of, let's say, Orlando. Now, here is the satellite picture today. And this is with the computer enhancement on there where we can see the most intense part. And there you see near the center, those purples are maintaining themselves. We can also begin to make out what looks like an eye trying to form, all indications of a strengthening storm. Also, you see the feeder band out here over Honduras. This is likely producing very, very heavy rains there over the eastern part of that country. And also back here over Jamaica, this is a very large circulation. Now let's go close up with the daytime satellite picture and watch this one. And there you can see that eye. Look at that right in there trying to form. Looks like an eye wall trying to form around it as well. Again, all indications of a strengthening hurricane. Now here are the numbers as of the advisory at 5 o'clock. 16.7, 81.5. Winds at 80 miles an hour, just measured by the hurricane hunters. The west-northwest movement at about 8. It's actually been drifting a little bit to the west, but it's expected to move back to up to the northwest here later on tonight. There's the pressure, 970 millibars, so that number keeps going down. And when we see that number go down, every indication is that the winds are going to increase, and the water temperatures up in here are just very, very favorable for strengthening. And there you see 180 miles south of Grand Cayman. So there's where the storm is forecast to go over the next 3 days, taking it here into the Gulf of Mexico, potentially as at least a Category 3, maybe even a Category 4 hurricane. And then the jet stream comes along and sweeps it up very quickly on up to the northeast, so that it's in our general vicinity Saturday afternoon. So this looks like a Saturday hurricane crossing over the state of Florida somewhere, but most likely from Orlando down into the Straits, looks like. And of course, we're right in that. So the odds of us not having some effect from this are very, very low. And the Keys are likely going to have a significant effect. And then it speeds away there on Sunday. All right, David Bernard has been keeping track of exactly what in the weather pattern is going to drive this thing. Here's David.
And unfortunately, Brian, it looks like everything is coming together for this hurricane to make an impact on Florida. And here's why. Here's the hurricane in the Caribbean this afternoon. We have low pressure to the west and a high pressure over the Gulf of Mexico. And so what's going on is that we have a major jet stream dip developing on the west coast today. Now, the blocking high is still in place over the western Gulf, but it's beginning to weaken. That's the problem. Now, as we go ahead in time and we go toward Thursday, the jet stream dip will strengthen in the middle of the country. The high over the Atlantic will start to build toward the west, and it looks like that Wilma will be somewhere in the northwest Caribbean by Thursday. By Saturday, though, we see an enormous dip in the jet stream, sending these fast west winds all the way down to the Gulf Coast. The Atlantic high will continue to build west. This kind of setup is a very classic fall hurricane setup for the west coast of Florida. That makes an alleyway for Florida. Of course, the devil's in the details. We don't know exactly where in the peninsula the hurricane's going to cross. Could be, again, as far north as somewhere around Orlando, Tampa, as Brian was saying, or still possibly maybe somewhere in the Florida Straits. I'll have more on the local forecast in a few minutes.
Now a story you'll see only on 4. A former Miami-Dade firefighter fighting to get his job back after taking a plea in a rape case has a change of heart in the middle of the proceedings.
CBS 4's Ileana Varela has a story from Miami.
Firefighter Franco Lewis came here today to fight for his job, but in the end, he threw in the towel.
Any misdemeanors.
Former Miami-Dade firefighter Franco Lewis appeals his termination to a personnel hearing examiner. The county fired Lewis after he pled guilty to a misdemeanor battery charge in what started out as a rape case. The alleged victim, Edward Stephan, tearfully testified at today's hearing that Lewis stopped him on the street and offered to give him a ride home, but drove to his house instead.
And as soon as we got in, he had locked the door, and that's when I was really scared because I didn't know if I was going to ever come out.
Edward eventually came out nude and hysterically screaming for help, claiming Lewis had raped him. Allegations the former firefighter denied the one time he agreed to talk to us back in February.
Totally false allegations, 100% false.
But if the allegations were true, why did Edward go along? His adoptive father says it's important to understand that as a child, Edward had brain surgery after being shaken by his biological father. He also suffers from a growth hormone deficiency, making him much smaller than a normal 20-year-old.
He does have disabilities. He has learning disabilities. He's not street smart. He's very trusting of people.
I was in shock. I was just so scared I didn't know what to do.
So he has voluntarily resigned.
An hour after Edward's testimony, Lewis did not return to the hearing. During the lunch break, he decided to drop his appeal and voluntarily resign from his job. In case you're wondering how you can resign once you've already been fired, basically it's just a settlement between both sides that in this case will allow Lewis to honestly say he wasn't fired, and also saves the county money on any future appeals. In Miami, Ileana Varela, CBS 4 News.
A South Florida elementary school is evacuated when a fire is set in a bathroom. Students were forced out of Sunland Park Elementary School for about 10 minutes this morning after teachers smelled smoke coming from a second-floor hallway. Firefighters found a pile of ashes in a bathroom and are now investigating to find out who set that fire. Was it manslaughter or a case of misguided parenting? Opening statements underway today in the trial of a couple charged with starving their child to death. CBS 4's Gary Nelson is live in Miami with the latest out of court. Gary.
Well, two starkly differing stories, scenarios painted before this circuit court jury here this afternoon. The state saying that these are parents whose negligence rose to homicide. The defense for the parents saying no, they cared deeply for their children, took good care of them, and this child died from a birth defect.
Joseph and Lamoy Anderson, parents accused of killing their own child. Their trial beginning now nearly 2.5 years after their 6-month-old daughter, Woya, died, the state says, of malnutrition, starved to death by parents who fed her only uncooked vegetables, coconut milk, and wheatgrass juice.
Baby Woya was undergoing what the medical experts will tell you is autocannibalism. That means Baby Woya's body was eating itself because she wasn't getting enough nutrients.
In opening statements to the jury, the defense painted the Andersons as caring, doting parents.
They were more concerned with raising their children than anything else. Witnesses are going to come here and swear under oath that these two parents never left the sight of their children.
The defense position is the baby died not of malnutrition, but of pneumonia brought on by a congenital defect and a glandular disorder, that she was doomed from birth.
It didn't matter what the diet was, and she would have died regardless of what the state is telling you.
The state says autopsy photos will speak for themselves. A child with pencil-thin limbs and distended belly, weighing no more than a newborn, unable to care for herself.
Baby Woya wasn't old enough to talk. Baby Woya could not say, the evidence will show, I'm hungry. Give me some more to eat. This wheatgrass isn't enough. I need more.
Charged with manslaughter in Woya's death, the Andersons are also accused of neglecting their 4 other children who doctors for the state found to be malnourished.
Now, the defense will argue that those other children ate the same diet as the baby and they didn't die. It will be very difficult, however, to overcome these autopsy photographs that show a child weighing scarcely 6 pounds at 6 months of age. We're live in Miami. Gary Nelson, CBS 4 News.
It's a turning point in history for the new Iraq as final results are soon released. In Iraq's constitutional vote, Saddam Hussein is scheduled to go on trial for a 1982 massacre. But as CBS 4's Bianca Solorzano reports, Saddam's trial may not last long.
Joy and Elliott, good afternoon. Saddam Hussein gets ready to stand trial in what's expected to be the first of several trials. He is charged with ordering the massacre of more than 100 people in a predominantly Shiite town.
We got him.
2 years after he was found hiding in a hole, former Iraqi President Saddam Hussein will find himself in another uncomfortable location, a Baghdad courtroom to face 5 judges and the world. Hussein and 7 members of his Ba'ath Party are on trial for their lives, charged with crimes against humanity for the killing of more than 140 Shiite Muslim men 2 decades ago. Prosecutors say the men were ordered killed after a failed attempt on Hussein's life. And while so many Iraqis have waited 20 years to see Hussein go on trial tomorrow, the first day may not last that long. Senior Iraqi officials expect proceedings will be adjourned quickly if Saddam's lawyer likely asks for more time to study the evidence against him. Meanwhile, election officials continue to check the validity of some constitution votes in 12 Shiite and Kurdish provinces. The vote totals there were unusually high. As many as 99% of those voters reportedly approved the draft constitution. And it seems Iraq continues to take steps forward but back at the same time. Hussein's trial and the constitution votes may be progress, but even today, insurgents killed at least 5 more Iraqis. Bianca Solorzano, CBS 4 News.
Cats trapped inside a burning South Florida home turning firefighters into animal rescuers.
We have got the owner's emotional reaction during the rush to rescue them next.
I'm CBS 4 health specialist Dr. Sean Kniff. The risks of obesity surgery may be much, much higher than previously thought. I'll tell you all about disturbing new information coming up in my medical file.
Shutter businesses keeping busy, how this history-making hurricane season is spurring a lot of change in South Florida.
Then a story we broke first on 4, a Broward businessman living a lie. Police say he's really a fugitive from the 70s. How they busted him, that's coming up. All new at 6. CBS 4 News at 5:30. We'll be right back.
There's nothing like being the first. To see something, to drive something no one else has. Introducing Pontiac's new release party. Be one of the first to experience our new releases. The most new models in our history.
The Pontiac G6 sedan delivers an EPA estimated 34 highway miles per gallon. And with Pontiac's total value promise, a G6 starts at $16,990. Only at your South Florida Pontiac dealer.
You want to sell your house or property in 24 hours? Call 1-800-NO-AGENT. Do no repairs, pay no commissions.
No matter what the reason you need to sell now, we can get you your cash fast. Call now, 1-800-NO-AGENT.
Our best shows tonight on CBS 4. Brought to you by B's Fine Sponsors.
Introducing the new KFC Chop. Starring KFC's own tender roasted chicken, dressed with black beans and rice. Spiced with pico de gallo and a creamy avocado topping. Just $3.99. Try it today. Because it's the chicken that makes the chop. And this chop is from KFC.
2006 Nissan Altima with a special edition package. People are really drawn to it. They love the 8-way power driver's seat, dual illuminated vanity mirrors, and steering wheel mounted audio controls. 15 added features in all. Now with package savings and cash back, save $1,700. The Nissan Altima with the special edition package. It's very attractive.
CBS 4 News is sponsored by Nissan, who invites you to shift your ride.
If you see news in the making, dial star CBS 4 on your T-Mobile cellular phone.
It's quite a scare for a South Florida man when his home catches fire with his pets trapped inside.
Well, luckily the firefighters turned feline rescuers and saved the day. CBS 4's Jennifer Santiago is here live with the rescue force. Jen.
Guys, if you own a pet, you can imagine the panic. Four-legged members of your family stuck in your burning home. Well, we're glad to tell you this tale has a happy ending.
He's a big man with a big heart and can't control his emotions, clutching one of his tiny little kitties. 9 cats, several of which are just kittens, have already given away at least one of their 9 lives. 8 of the furry little creatures, wet and exhausted, have all had a near-death experience. Survivors of this Sweetwater townhouse fire. One ran away before firefighters could grab it.
Firefighters were successful in getting all 9 cats out. 9 cats, 9 lives were saved.
No problem. Miami-Dade firefighters and paramedics console the homeowner after learning the fire in his house on the 10,000 block of Southwest 7th Street started with a candle that was left unattended. After surveying the damage, about $6,000 worth, again his emotions get the best of him. The cats were given oxygen and put in cardboard boxes and will now be taken
to the local animal hospital with the Humane Society.
Now, Lieutenant Bob wants to remind the public that leaving candles unattended is never a good idea, especially with pets in the home, since cats and dogs can easily knock them over. Reporting live, Jennifer Santiago, CBS 4 News.
Thanks, Jennifer. Now for something getting plenty of attention.
Yeah. Yes.
Wilma.
Oh, I'm telling
David.
you. Maybe now that we're into the list, we won't have to worry about anything else after
That
this.
would be nice.
Wouldn't it be? Okay, listen, Wilma keeping a close eye on, definitely a threat to South Florida. So far today, it started to increase our clouds and our humidity with moisture increasing from the south. Highs 83 at CBS 4 Miami and at Fort Lauderdale. Key West was 85. 7/100ths of an inch of rain here. Weather control in just the last hour or two, and a trace so far at Miami. But more rain is out there. Here's a look at real-time Doppler 4. These showers are blowing in from the southeast to the northwest, and it's raining across a good part of Metro Miami-Dade, right down toward Homestead and also Key Largo. Here's a closer look at where some of the showers are around Hialeah right now, North Miami Beach. Aventura seeing some rainfall, and these showers extend back to the southwest, just to the west of Westchester. In fact, that's some of the heaviest rain falling right now, and also across the middle and upper Keys, a few showers. Again, everything moving southeast to northwest. Maybe get a break in the next couple of hours, and a few more showers will likely move in during the overnight period. Okay, here's the setup for today. Here we are, not looking terribly bad early on. Wilma down toward the south, and notice the storm increasing in size this afternoon. This has all the markings of a major hurricane on the way, at least for the Northwest Caribbean. We think the storm is going to continue to strengthen over the next 24 to 48 hours. How does that impact our weather? Well, radar and satellite combined, notice the little moisture surge coming up from south to north today on the northern edge of the hurricane, producing our showers here. We went from that real beautiful dry weather the last couple of days to all of a sudden the humidity started coming up again this afternoon, and with it, the showers came along with it. Now, I don't want to talk about this too much, but there is one other wave the Hurricane Center is watching east of the Windward Islands right in here. Currently, they're indicating the winds aren't too favorable for formation, but if there is going to be an alpha, this could be the system out across portions of the central Atlantic. Weather across the southeast today, still nice and sunny and dry to the north of us. Here are our showers showing up. Temperatures generally are showing up in the low 80s, most locations. Right now, Atlanta checking in right at 80 degrees, Birmingham 83 in the northeast today. Weak front moving across New England, a few showers across Vermont and New Hampshire. 72 New York, Philadelphia right now has 75. Let's check out the forecast then for tonight. And overall, not bad. Showers in spots, though. Briefly heavy at times, especially early on. Then we should get a break, and then they'll redevelop again after midnight. The low 76 degrees. And for tomorrow, 84. Lots of clouds. Showers are going to blow in, so not too much sun. Again, a lot like what we saw today. Mold and pollen. Mold moderate. Still low on the pollen. Worst allergens out there, grasses and palms. As we go into the weekend, again, Saturday and Sunday, those could be the impact days on Wilma. So obviously how bad our weather is will depend on the future track of Wilma. But Thursday and Friday, breezy showers, lots of clouds around. Highs will be in the mid-80s.
Thank you, David. You may remember Valerie Harper as Rhoda on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Well, now this 4-time Emmy winner is starring as Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir in the Broadway smash Golda's Balcony. CBS 4's Lisa Petrillo has more on the show's South Florida opening from Fort Lauderdale.
Starting with a phone call that's woke me up.
Golda Meir was one of the most powerful and respected political figures in history. The former Israeli prime minister dealt with life and death decisions during a tumultuous time. And in Golda's balcony, making its touring production premiere at the Parker Playhouse in Fort Lauderdale, Valerie Harper brings Golda to life.
Every major event, she was very much in the center of it. Sure. So she is really a towering figure of the 20th century, male or female. She's one of the great human beings of the 20th century with this dramatic story, so I'm thrilled to be playing it.
I knew it yesterday, in my bones.
And becoming Golda Meir is no easy task. Harper spends every day listening to Meir's speeches to capture her voice and cadence. She studies maps of Israel and Palestine during that time. And then there's the makeup.
When people come to the theater, I'm wearing what we call a fat suit. Let's just call it. She was Zoftic. Yes, full-figure gal. And one costume, her suit that she wore much of the time, there is a wig and there's a nose because I'm not equipped. And wonderful makeup.
We can't talk to you without asking you the question that everybody out there, your fans, want to talk about, and that is the Mary Tyler Moore Days. I'm sure you have fans from all over the world.
The show was so well written. I would say that to young writers entering TV now. Write from life instead of from other TV shows, and you will have the longevity of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. The people were real. You recognize them.
Valerie is hoping her fans will come out to see her in this 90-minute, no-intermission production. They'll laugh, they'll learn something, they'll be entertained, and
they'll get to see Valerie playing Golda, not Rhoda, but with the same heart. I really, it's the most exciting role that I've ever had the opportunity to play.
Golda's Balcony previews tonight through Friday. It officially opens at the Parker Playhouse in Fort Lauderdale on Saturday and runs through November 3rd. I'm Lisa Petrillo, CBS 4 News.
A South Florida teacher is accused of kidnapping and sexually assaulting a 12-year-old boy. How he knows his alleged victim in a story we broke first on 4.
A popular surgery to help fight the battle of the bulge may be more dangerous than we first thought. What you need to know about it when we open up Dr. Sean's medical file.
Right now, tonight's Hispanic Heritage Month trivia question: what year did the Latin Grammy Awards debut? That answer a little later in the newscast. CBS 4 News at 5:30. We'll be right back.
Delivers furniture faster than Rooms to Go. In fact, you can buy it today and get it tomorrow. That's next day delivery now at Rooms to Go.
Our best shows in HD TV tonight on CBS 4. Brought to you by BrandSmart USA.
For me, true beauty is timeless, ageless, and forever. Experience the enchantment at the Miami Beach Antique Jewelry, Watch, and Fine Silver Show. Come and see priceless collections from over 150 of the finest international exhibitors. Please join me in discovering thousands of pieces of unique antique jewelry, watches, and fine silver. Tiffany's, Cartier, Rolex, Patek Philippe, and more. The Miami Beach Antique Jewelry, Watch, and Fine Silver Show in the Convention Center. It's a wonderful buying experience. Treat yourself well.
Did you know people can be contagious with the flu for up to a week before they become sick? Or that the flu virus can survive on surfaces for days? Each year, millions are infected. Thousands are hospitalized or even die. Your only reliable defense is vaccination. Professional Flu Clinics makes getting your flu shot convenient, safe, and affordable. Plus, we accept Medicare. Don't get the flu. Get vaccinated.
Get your flu shot at these South Florida area locations. Check your local paper for clinic dates or visit profluclinics.com.
New at 6, living on the lam for 30 years, a fugitive assumes a new identity as a Broward businessman. How he was busted only on 4. The history-making hurricane season, and the rush is on for shutters. How businesses are coping. New at 6.
From Dr. Sean's medical file, 2 new studies suggest there are much higher health risks for those undergoing gastric bypass surgery to lose weight.
CBS 4 health specialist Dr. Sean Caniff is live right now with the reason why. Doctor.
That's right, Elliot and Joy. Previous studies have found about 1% of people undergoing gastric bypass surgery will die after the procedure. Now that's risky enough. Well, according to these new data, the death rate may actually be much, much higher than that.
Here's what Julia Hill looked like when she weighed 400 pounds. Just 4 months later, she's lost 76 pounds after having bariatric or stomach shrinking surgery. And a new report shows she's far from alone. From 1998 to 2002, bariatric procedures shot up more than 5-fold, and it's believed the numbers will only increase. Experts estimate there will be 130,000 done in 2005 and 218,000 in 2010. One major reason, many health plans, including Medicare, are now covering it. Insurers believe weight loss creates a healthier patient, but researchers are discovering the surgery itself may be more dangerous than previously thought. Scientists looked at a large group of bariatric patients with an average age of 48 years old. They found more than 4% of them died within the first year after the procedure. That's 4 out of every 100 people. Doctors say, just like a heart operation, bariatric procedures are a major surgery.
Anyone undergoing weight loss surgery has a risk.
But in the end, most doctors believe the reward of this surgery outweighs the risks. That's because the weight loss improves the patient's overall health.
The diabetes, the sleep apnea, the heart attacks, those things get better. Those things are measurably improved.
In a perfect world, doctors would rather have patients lose weight through diet and exercise. But the reality is, for some people, surgery may still be their best hope.
Now, men did significantly worse with the surgery than women did for all age groups, and younger people did much better than older people. And for the oldest age group studied, 40% of the women died within 1 year of the procedure, and so did half the men. Dr. Sean Caniff, CBS 4 News.
Thanks, Doc. Now let's see what's coming up at 6. For that, here's Rob Hanrahan with a preview. Rob.
Joy, coming up in just a few minutes, Hurricane Wilma moving through the Caribbean. The Category 1 storm is posing a threat to South Florida. Brian Norcross is coming up next. And this historic hurricane season is making people think twice about how to get ready. Tonight, the shutter business obviously booming. We'll take a look at how it's coping with the boom in CBS 4 team coverage. And on the run since the 70s, police bust a Broward businessman who they say is actually a wanted fugitive. We're live with the pictures you'll see only on 4. And a Dolphins quarterback is sent packing. Details on those stories and more just ahead.
Ford can take every turn, the road can handle the burn. Me and my Ford, we ride it right. You got to ride it like a Ford. You got to ride it like a Ford. Ride it like a Ford. Ride it like a Ford.
Galleria, offering wholesale prices directly to the public. Huge variety of artwork, framed prints, and thousands of original oil paintings, all at wholesale prices. Beautiful mirrors from $79. Also, Galleria has the largest selection of elegant bathroom vanities from only $499. Don't miss this incredible sale this week only. Call 305-662-0123 for the location nearest you.
Redesigned 2006 Saturn Vue. Get a new 2006 Saturn Vue starting at $17,990 MSRP with OnStar service standard for 1 year.
All new Dr. Oz reveals the #1 killer of women.
People don't really believe this.
1 out of 2 will die of this. It could be you.
By this point, it's too late.
Go inside the human body. Next Oprah.
Tomorrow at 4 on 4.
Home loans confused Julie. What are points at escrow, she'd wonder. Then she went to Washington Mutual. They explained the process step by step. Now Julie's never confused.
And the answer is...
basal ganglia.
Basal ganglia.
I'll take it. And I don't need the extended warranty. So when you say it's not you, it's me, you're really saying it's me.
Exactly.
Do you want that snow pea?
Nice work, Julie. Nice work.
CBS 4 News is sponsored by Washington Mutual. Open a free checking account and add deluxe services at Washington Mutual. More human interest.
The answer to tonight's Hispanic Heritage Trivia question is, the first Latin Grammy Awards was broadcast on September 13, 2000, breaking new ground in bilingual TV programming and advertising.
And that'll do it for CBS 4 News at 5:30. Thank you for watching.
CBS 4 News at 6 with Maggie Rodriguez and Rob Hanrahan starts right now.
Now, live. This is CBS 4 News at 6.
First at 6, worries over Wilma. The Category 1 hurricane is moving through the Caribbean tonight. And all of South Florida needs to watch this strengthening storm very closely.
We have live team coverage for you coming up. First, your weather station begins with Brian Norcross. He's standing by as usual in weather control with the very latest coordinates. Brian.
All right, Rob and Maggie, all indications are this is going to be a very strong hurricane. And just since we were here at 5 o'clock, we have new satellite pictures in now showing the intensification process is well underway. This may very well be at least a Category 2 even later tonight, and probably a Category 3 tomorrow. Now let's take a look first of all at the wide view of the satellite, because I want you to get a feel for how big this circulation is, because this is going to be the biggest hurricane in our part of the world in quite some time. We've been dealing with generally fairly small hurricane circulations around here, but this is going to be a Hurricane Katrina type size, physical size, how far out those winds go. You see it extends over the whole western part of the Caribbean right now. Now let's go close up with the computer enhancement and watch what's happened over the last few hours. There you see that ball of purple. Now look how we're getting an eye popping out there on just the last couple of pictures, indications of a strengthening storm, and we even have the purple all the way around it. The next hurricane hunter that goes in there, I feel certain, is going to find a significantly stronger hurricane. But it's also moving in this general westerly direction right now. Now it's forecast to make that bend to the north, and as they do sometimes go through the intensification process, there's a bunch of wobbling that can happen. Add to that the fact that the satellite today was realigned, so we're not exactly sure that it's lined up exactly right, but we're going to continue to see because the storm has not wanted to lift north very much. So we'll just continue to see what happens. But all indications are that eventually it will. Here are the numbers as of the 5 o'clock advisory. 80-mile-an-hour winds found by the hurricane hunters this afternoon. But since then, that eye has popped out on the satellite. So I'd be very surprised if that number doesn't go up just based on that. West-northwest at 8. Pressure down to 970, so it's continued to drop. Every time we get a new report, the pressure is lower, 180 miles to the south of Grand Cayman. Now, here's the future track. Of course, this is the most important thing. So the next 3 days, take the storm, according to all the best thinking, including all of the computer models run by meteorological centers from around the world, all take this storm up to the northwest toward the Yucatan Peninsula or western Cuba. So that by Friday afternoon, it's somewhere in this vicinity, likely as a very strong hurricane there. Now, will it sneak right through there, or will it be affected by land? We're not sure about that. Then by Saturday, it gets affected by the jet stream, starts getting pushed on off to the northeast so that it's in our general vicinity. But yes, it could conceivably be up in central Florida, it could conceivably be to the south. How hard that turn is going to be is just, it's too soon to tell. Notice we're still in the risk area. We're not in the solid yellow future track cone. In any case, it'll move quickly over the state, and by Sunday afternoon, be well gone off to our northeast, and our weather will dramatically change and improve. Now, the hurricane watches have now gone up for the western part of Cuba from Matanzas province over to the western tip, and also for the Cancun, Cozumel area in the Yucatan Peninsula. Of course, also hurricane watches up for the Cayman Islands, and also the tropical storm warnings continue up for Honduras. Now, all expectations are that no matter what happens here, If it lifts to the north, and that's the only big question mark, if it lifts to the north, no reason to think this isn't going to be a significant hurricane event on the west coast. Yes, it would be weaker on the east coast than those folks would feel, but there's a long history of hurricanes coming from that direction, causing a lot of problems here on the southeast coast. So this is something I don't want anybody to think that just because it's not coming at us from the Atlantic Ocean, that it is not something we may not have to prepare fully for. That may very well happen here later this week. All right, back with more in just a few minutes.
All right, Brian, with this history-making hurricane season, there's a big boom in the shutter business, as you might imagine. CBS 4's Lev Davalos is in Doral with that story.
With Hurricane Wilma gaining strength out in the Caribbean, South Florida residents are once again faced with the tedious task of putting up shutters, something that needs to be done while it's still safe to do.
Business is booming at Seaview Industries, a company that has specialized in hurricane shutters since 1948. Company president Bob Schieffer says this hurricane season has kept his workers busier than ever.
There's been more of a demand now than we've seen any time within the past 50 years that I've been in the business. More of a demand now even than after Hurricane Andrew.
Some of the more popular shutters Cicero has been selling lately are the electric roll-up shutters and the accordion shutters. With the busy hurricane season, people are looking towards convenience, especially since the threat of a hurricane seems to just keep coming.
Okay, the accordion shutter is a shutter that sits at the side of the window or the sliding glass door.
But many people do have these storm panels, and as CBS Chief Meteorologist Brian Norcross tells us, with a large storm such as Wilma, the winds may be too strong to put up the panels if you wait too long.
It's the folks with panels that we're concerned about. And about 20 miles an hour is the cutoff for the wind. And we may already have that on Thursday even, but especially on Friday. It may well be too breezy.
We saw what the strong winds that accompanied Hurricane Katrina did, blowing down trees and power lines. Norcross says Wilma has the potential to be the strongest storm of the season, and putting up panels when the winds hit 20 miles per hour could be a deadly decision.
We've had people die here in South Florida putting up panels because it's like a big sail in the wind and they're heavy and they have sharp edges.
So the best advice is if you do have storm panels, keep a close eye on the news, and if by Friday it appears that it's too windy to be out there putting up your shutters, plan on putting them up Thursday to keep you and your family safe. In Doral, Lev Davalos, CBS 4 News.
And just into Weather Control, new information regarding Hurricane Wilma.
Let's get right to Brian Norcross with the latest. Brian?
Just as we were on the air a moment ago, we were looking at that pressure number, indeed, down now to 963, so it's continuing to drop very, very rapidly. Indications are this storm is strengthening quickly, and of course, next advisory from the Hurricane Center comes in at 8. So we'll be back with the forecast here in just a few minutes.
Thanks for the update, Brian. Be sure to stay with CBS 4, your weather station, for continuing coverage of Hurricane Wilma. The new advisory tonight on our sister station, UPN 33, that's at 10 o'clock, and right here on CBS 4 News at 11.
A fugitive on the run, living on the lam in South Florida.
It's unbelievable.
Tonight, only our cameras are there as this Broward businessman is busted for living a lie.
The suspect is wanted for helping a notorious gang of Canadian bank robbers back in the 70s. After he was charged, he fled, assumed a new identity, and settled down to his life here in South Florida. CBS 4's Brian Andrews has our exclusive pictures. And Brian, how did they find him after all these years?
Well, you know, Rob, agents from the Diplomatic Security Service, an arm of the State Department out in San Francisco, were checking death certificates against driver's licenses when they got a hit involving a dead child from Northern California and a very much alive adult here in South Florida, who agents say used the dead child's name and social security number to fraudulently obtain a U.S. passport.
His friends and associates know him as Stephen Duffy, a well-to-do local businessman. Here's his photo from a recent Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce newsletter. Diplomatic security agents say he's really a Canadian felon named Christopher Clarkson, wanted for drug trafficking.
He was arrested in 1976 in Canada, fled, and has been living under assumed identity for the last 30 years.
Agents say when he got to the U.S., Clarkson stole the identity of a 4-year-old child who died in Northern California back in the 1940s.
He was able to get a birth certificate and then apply for a U.S. passport. We did some investigations into that, and discovered the link, and were able to track him down here to South Florida.
Canadian authorities say Clarkson was linked to a group of bank robbers called the Stopwatch Gang, who could pull off a heist in under 90 seconds. He was charged in a failed plot to smuggle suitcases of cocaine into Canada for the gang in the mid-1970s. Agents arrested Duffy, a.k.a. Clarkson, at the offices of Capital Real Estate Group.
Duff's not in, dude. Duffy's not in.
Oh, he's not?
The owner told us Duffy, as they knew him, had been renting office space for a consulting business. We got there shortly after agents had taken him away in handcuffs and saw his briefcase still on the floor of his office, his tie and belt and cell phone still on the table, and the walls of the office adorned with various business licenses he'd applied for under what the feds say was an assumed identity.
What do you make of the feds saying he's pretending to be somebody who he isn't?
I'm mind-boggled.
How long do you think he'd been living here in Florida?
From what we can tell, at least for the last 10 years or so.
Clarkson, a.k.a. Duffy, will be arraigned tomorrow in federal court in Fort Lauderdale and eventually turned over to the Canadian authorities. I'm Brian Andrews, CBS 4 News.
We have breaking news now. It involves an arrest and some Haitian migrants who came ashore yesterday. Joy Purdy is at the breaking news desk. Joy.
Maggie, this information just coming in. Max Deuce is that corrections officer we're talking about. He's been with Miami-Dade for the past 3 years. He has been charged with transporting illegal aliens, and this is in connection with a case we told you about yesterday where 2 Haitian nationals were found in Sea Ranch Lakes. Their clothes were soaking wet, and this boat in this video you see here was found abandoned. Well, police believe that once the Haitians came ashore, Max Deuce helped them try to get away or come into the U.S. Therefore, Max Deuce has been arrested. Right now, he is out of police custody, released on a $100,000 bond. But if convicted, he faces up to 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. That's the very latest from the breaking news desk. Joy Purdy, CBS 4 News.
And now a story CBS 4 News broke first. A shocking crime. A South Florida geography teacher is under arrest tonight, accused of kidnapping and sexually assaulting one of his students. CBS 4's Ted Scouten is live in Pompano Beach with the story. Ted.
Maggie, this is a case where you have a teacher who is not only accused of violating trust, but he's also accused of taking this a step further, actually setting up a scenario to lure a kid, one of his own students, to his house for sex. Lumbering to a waiting patrol car, 29-year-old teacher Adrian Valdez is accused of taking one of his middle school students from the classroom to the bedroom. When I asked him about it, he denied it. How's that? They're not true? Why do you think someone would say that then? They're not true. They're not true. Cops say it happened here at Valdez Deerfield Beach home on Monday. The 12-year-old told investigators it all began when Valdez gave him a detention, then offered to drive him home. Instead, he claims they ended up at the teacher's home watching dirty movies.
He showed the boy pornographic video and then performed a sex act on this kid.
Students at Crystal Lake Middle School are surprised, to say the least.
So I was very surprised. Mr. Valdez, he was kind of like a good teacher to me.
Many kids say they looked up to Valdez.
He was like one of my teachers. And I was in his class in the 7th grade. And he inspired me and everything.
Valdez's sister thinks these allegations are cooked up by an angry 12-year-old bent on revenge for being held after school.
Maybe he didn't want detention. Maybe he didn't want to serve his detention. It was going to be a higher consequence.
Now, that teacher has actually been with the district for around 4 years. It's for that reason that investigators are concerned there may actually be more alleged victims out there. If you have any information, call the Broward Sheriff's Office Sex Crimes Unit. That number is 954-321-4240. We're live in Pompano Beach. I'm Ted Scouten, CBS 4 News.
A group of brazen bandits is threatening gas station clerks and leaving a trail of smoke behind in their getaway. The video that just may bring them down. Next.
Also ahead, hundreds of thousands with the hottest ticket in town as King Tut makes a historic stop in South Florida. CBS 4 News at 6. We'll be right back.
Next ET, Jag shirtless in the surf. Plus the Commander-in-Chief's state dinner. We're on the set with Gina Davis and Ed McMahon's new book about Johnny Carson.
What is the one story that you reveal?
Next ET.
Tonight at 7 on 4. Think you've tried everything to stop smoking? Check out a new high-tech way to kick the habit.
I don't think I'll ever smoke again.
Is it a real solution or just science fiction? Find out when we test the smoking laser. Thursday at 5 and 11 on CBS 4 News.
Mom's been on Medicare. Finding affordable health coverage hasn't been easy.
And health care costs keep rising.
That's why you should call now and learn about Medicare Complete. the health plan that gives you more benefits than original Medicare alone, including prescription coverage with no deductible.
For no extra plan premium.
A contract with the federal government makes it possible. And if you call now, you'll get a free exercise monitor with a built-in radio. There's no obligation and nothing to lose.
What are you waiting for? Make the call.
Discover Medicare Complete.
What's gotten into Rusty?
That new French Toast Festival down there at the IHOP.
Bonjour.
Don't worry, it's a limited time offer.
It's French Toast Festival at IHOP. Try luscious stuffed French toast, tempting cinnamon swirl, or delicious classic French toast. Served with all your favorites starting at just $4.99, it's an irresistible deal. IHOP. Come hungry, leave happy.
Come celebrate the grand opening of Sawgrass Infinity, the world's largest and most luxurious Infinity dealer. With one of the world's finest automobiles, 1,000 new vehicles to choose from, and just 15 minutes from Boca or Miami makes us your best choice. During our huge grand opening, we've price adjusted every vehicle in stock, making it easier and more affordable than ever to step up to the luxury of Infinity. Sawgrass Infinity, Commercial Boulevard and Sawgrass Expressway. Any questions?
Sawgrass Infinity. Any questions?
Breaking news. Sports. Stocks. Get fast solutions every time on Herald.com.
If you see news in the making, dial star CBS 4 on your T-Mobile cellular phone.
A new exhibit is in town from ancient times. Tickets for the new King Tut exhibit in Fort Lauderdale went on sale today.
Already more than 200,000 people have gotten their hands on them. We could have sent any reporter to cover this story, but we thought Nefertiti Jacques would enjoy it.
He ruled during a crucial period of Egyptian history. He's one of the most well-known pharaohs of his time. His name, King Tut. His historical artifacts on their way to South Florida to create a must-see exhibition of these empty rooms.
Tutankhamun and the golden age of the pharaohs.
It all begins at the Fort Lauderdale Museum of Art this December.
There are 11 galleries, but it will take up the entire museum, all 22,000 square feet. Every object is extraordinary, all 130 objects.
And while we still have a few months until the exhibition of 130 prized artifacts opens, today marked the first day of ticket sales for the upcoming show. And you'll never believe who got the first dibs on the first tickets.
I think it's really cool that we're going to experience this.
We get to see King Tut, and hardly anybody else has.
Yup, these little tuts from the Downtown Academy of Arts and Technology School. They were given the first 100 tickets as a gift to congratulate them on all of their hard work and their obvious love for the king. But of course, several South Floridians came out too, many of them with their cash and credit cards in tow, making sure they got their tickets for the hottest show about to hit town.
I can't wait to see the treasures of Tut.
In Fort Lauderdale, Nefertiti Jacques, CBS 4 News.
And for information on how to get your hands on King Tut tickets and when the exhibit runs, you can log on to our website at cbs4news.com.
A trio of thieves is caught on camera ripping off a Davy gas station. It happened on October 7th at a Hess station near the 3200 block of North University Drive. Police say the three men threatened the clerks, then walked behind the counter and took 3 cases of cigarettes. The suspects got away in a red 4-door Pontiac. If you have any information, please call police.
Your weather station, of course, tracking Hurricane Wilma on the move in the Caribbean. Brian Norcross is back next with more.
And antibacterial soap could be in hot water. The FDA is investigating. Dr. Sean will explain why next in his medical file.
And I'm Jim Barry. Coming up in sports, the Dolphins deal A.J. Feely. We'll tell you where he is heading and who exactly the Fins are getting. CBS 4 News at 6 is coming right back.
CBS 4 Weather is sponsored by the South Florida Water Management District, protectors of the Everglades.
Ride it, ride it. Ride it, ride it. Ride it, ride it. My Ford can take every turn. The road can handle the burn. Me and my Ford, we ride it right. You got to ride. You got to ride it like a Ford. You got to ride.
Hi, I'm Sean Yates, your Publix pharmacist. More than 180,000 women and almost 2,000 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year alone.
That's why Chapstick is committed to help make a difference in fighting this disease. Chapstick will donate 20 cents to the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation when you buy specially marked Chapstick products. Please do your part to help fight breast cancer.
So take charge of your health. Early detection can help save lives.
Sponsored by Chapstick.
Is DNA really evidence?
For Jen, truth was relative. Then she got Washington Mutual free checking. She liked the no hidden fees, and they inspired Jen to be more truthful.
Your Honor, my client pleads guilty.
What?
Well, you are.
Hi, I just changed lanes without signaling. Oh, and my plates are expired.
Nice deck.
Not really. We built it ourselves.
Way to go, Jen. We appreciate your bold honesty.
Now, own luxury waterfront. On October 29th, 3 magnificent homes in exclusive Fort Lauderdale gated communities will be auctioned. At 11 a.m., this magnificent home in Harbor Beach will be sold at absolute auction. At 2 p.m., this breathtaking estate home on Sunrise Key will be sold at absolute auction. At 7 p.m., this incredible estate residence on Harbourage Island will be sold at public auction. Call Daniel DeCaro Real Estate Auctions at 1-800-332-3767.
Closed captioning sponsored by City Furniture, now offering same-day delivery 7 days a week. Dr. Sean's Medical Files is sponsored by Care Plus Health Plans, serving Dade, Broward, and West Palm Beach.
Brian Norcross is here. I just feel so dejected over this whole thing.
I know. What I don't want anybody to do is get too excited about this yet, because a lot of things can happen. I mean, we're still talking about 4 days away, and we know that risk areas and all that stuff are very broad. But we do have to say that there's a long history, unfortunately, of storms this time of year coming out of that part of the Caribbean that are very strong and very damaging to our state historically, like in the 20th century, you know. So it could happen, and unfortunately it's forecast not to be good, but we'll show you exactly what's going on here in just a second. Okay, here we go outside. Temperatures aren't too bad because the cloud cover kept things down today. Stickiness scale up to 6. That's fairly sticky, and that's going up as the tropical air comes in. We've had 0.07 of an inch of rain in our rain gauge here, but look at the real-time Doppler 4, and you see heavy rain coming in here right about Aventura, down across North Miami, on down to 79th Street on I-95 there. So the traffic up the I and not too good this afternoon, and then some other showers back here off to the west. On the wider view, you can see this is part of a line that's rotating in this way. So this part of North Dade and maybe southern Broward going to get quite a bit of rain, while many of the rest of us not going to get much at all. And even further out, there's another band here coming into the upper Keys. This is all on the outer fringes of the hurricane. All right, now here is the wide view, and here we can see that fringe. Look it up in there. You can just make out those clouds. They're faint up there, but that's the outer circulation there. We can see what a large circulation this is. So the fairly strong winds are going to extend out a long way, and that means that from late Friday, I think, all the way through Saturday, this is going to be quite a windy situation where we're going to have to stay put no matter where the bad part of the storm goes. Now out west, there's low pressure. That's eventually going to come into play. More on that in just a second, but that eventually, we think, is what's going to steer Wilma if Wilma lifts out of the Caribbean. So far, the only thing that hasn't quite happened yet is we haven't seen much move to the north. So far, it's sitting down there, but the breeze increasing here as the storm increases in intensity, then the winds expand out. So already the breeze is increasing even here on the southeast coast. Tomorrow we continue with that circulation off the Atlantic. So we'll say lots of clouds and showers blowing through, not raining every minute everywhere by any means, but certainly that outer fringe will be with us. Same story on Thursday, still about the same distance from us, maybe a little bit closer. So we'll say fairly breezy with a few more showers coming in. And on to Friday, it lifts north, gets to be, thinking is a very strong hurricane. Might we see some outer squalls? Yes, especially in the Keys. So we'll just have to see whether Friday looks too windy to put up shutters and move boats. We're not sure. And then Saturday, of course, Wilma effects possible. In fact, likely, just depending on the path that it takes. Now, here is the water vapor loop. Oh, and then I wanted to mention, by the way, can't forget this. Great weather is coming after this hurricane, after it crosses the state. Dry and cool. All right, there is the water vapor loop. Here is high pressure out here, and that's still blocking it. Maybe that'll continue to block it. We can't bet on that because out west, here's this low here. That's forecast to break the high down. So that's what it's forecast to do. We'll keep our fingers crossed that it doesn't happen. Okay, here we go. Here's the forecast now for tonight. Showers and spots, briefly heavy in some areas. Other spots okay. Lots of clouds. Showers blowing in tomorrow. Again, 84. There's the breeze out of the east, continuing 15 to 20. And, of course, there's your weekend, just deteriorating as we head towards Saturday. That's it.
Thanks, Brian. In tonight's medical file, most of us use it all the time. I know you do.
I do, yeah.
You're
It
kind
depends
of a germ
on this
freak.
stuff. Yeah.
Antibacterial.
Well, I'm not a freak.
He fears germs. Antibacterial soap is everywhere in our offices, our kitchens, our bathrooms.
And tonight, the FDA is now questioning these popular products. I didn't know you didn't use antibacterial soap. CBS 4 health specialist, of course, Dr. Sean Kniff is here. And Doc, I want to know what's going on with this.
Rob, I think you're okay. Maggie, you're very clean. You don't need the soap. The FDA is concerned these popular household products may threaten public health by increasing bacterial resistance. The FDA is taking a close look at antibacterial soaps, sanitizing wipes, and sprays to see if they're contributing to the recent emergence of superbugs, bacteria that are resistant to many antibiotics. Hundreds of hygiene products have hit the market in recent years, and experts fear that could be causing bacteria populations to mutate a little bit faster. And we're always told to weigh in only once a week if we're dieting, but if you want to tip the scales in your favor, try stepping on one each day. New research suggests that weighing yourself every day helps prevent dieters from regaining their pounds. Scientists say a daily check is important because most dieters regain a third of the weight that they lost in the first year and 2/3 of it in the second year. And stepping on the scale every day catches those small increases in weight when it's still relatively easy to peel off. Dr. Sean Kniff, CBS 4 News.
Thank you, Doc. Details on the Dolphins' big trade next.
We'll be right back.
Oprah's Plastic Surgery Addict, the new intervention. Then the Insider's Wedding Week, the new bridesmaids dresses, the hot colors. And Mark Harmon's new NCIS mystery. Next Insider.
Tonight at 7:30 on 4.
Well, hello.
New. Low rates in Florida.
Several weeks ago, Rooms to Go began donating 4,000 rooms of furniture to the families affected by Hurricane Katrina. And many of you have helped too. On behalf of all of us at Rooms to Go, we'd like to thank all of you who brought in new linens, bedding, kitchen items, and household goods to help make their homes complete. But the families still need more. So please call this toll-free number for drop-off information or visit roomstogo.com. Together, we will make a difference.
Introducing the new 2006 Cadillac DTS. With the power of the Northstar V8, you are in control. The new Cadillac DTS. Breakthrough. Visit your South Florida Cadillac dealer for this attractive offer. Residency restrictions apply.
Jim Ferguson is an adventurous eater. Jim's family knows he gets terrible heartburn. But what they don't know is that minutes ago, he took Maximum Strength Pepsid AC. Maximum Strength Pepsid AC is so strong, it prevents heartburn before it starts.
People, relax. I took Maximum Strength Pepsid AC.
Now Jim and his family need never fear food.
What do you think about a soccer mom who's turning tricks at home?
Whoa, talk about your desperate housewife. Are there other women involved in this? Nice looking, educated, middle class? Why would they put everything at risk to turn tricks?
Don't miss the show critics give an A.
I want the madam, not the moms.
How could you do this to me? I never should have trusted you.
No more questions.
New drama, Close to Home. CBS tonight.
Molly's a professional cheerleader. Why would we do a story about that? Wait till you see. Tonight on the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer. Experience you can trust. Right after CBS 4 News. So stay with us.
Jim Barry in with sports. Was this an expected move by the Dolphins?
Yes, it was, because you know what, A.J. Feely, too often threw to the wrong uniform.
Yeah,
Can't do that. A.J. Feely today gets traded for a draft pick and a QB named Cleo Lemon. The Dolphins conclude that A.J. was a lemon. In 2 years here, Feely had his ups and his downs. Started half of last season, but as I said, he threw way too many lethal interceptions that were run back for touchdowns. This year, Feely loses the starting job to Gus Frerotte and falls to third string. He is the latest Dave Wannstedt player that Nick Saban lets go. Well, Hurricane Wilma might prompt UM to reschedule Saturday's Georgia Tech game. Might be played Friday or moved back to mid-November. By then, Kyle Wright's swollen thumb might have healed. The quarterback hurts it Saturday against Temple on this hit. If there's a game this week, though, Wright says he intends to play. Meantime, the Canes abruptly fired D-line coach Greg Mark with the cap there. No word why, but boy, it sure surprised the players.
Definitely was a shock. You know, he's a good dude. I know the D-line liked him. He's funny. Like I said, he's a player's coach, man. He's a guy you want to play for. He really relates to our D-line.
All right, forget the fat lady. Last night in Houston, it ain't over till Albert Pujols swings. The former President Bush and First Lady see a baseball roller coaster. Houston's Lance Berkman drills this 3-run home run, and the Astros can taste their first pennant. But with 2 out in the 9th, Houston's Brad Lidge serves up dinner, and Pujols hits one high enough to pick up DirecTV. A 3-run shot keeps the Cards alive. They go back to St. Louis down 3-2.
It's not over until you don't make 27 outs, and that's the attitude that we keep in our locker room, everybody, and that's the attitude we were doing all year long, and that's why we win this game.
He hit it a country mile. Meantime, Joe Torre will stay with the Yankees. The manager thought about quitting, but who can leave a $200 million team? All right, Stan Van Gundy today drills the Heat. They host Orlando tonight in another preseason tune-up. So far, I have to be honest, the Heat has looked kinda ragged. 22 turnovers a game they're averaging. Going against them tonight, a familiar face, guard Keon Dooling, left the Heat for a big Orlando payday.
It's a great opportunity for me to play. I get a chance to, show some of the things that I can do. So I'm looking forward to this new adventure, and I'm going into it with a positive mind frame, and hopefully everything will work out well for me.
He got 10 mil, so he's happy about being there in Orlando.
Of course, that can make you very happy.
Yeah.
That's our news for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 11 for CBS 4 News tonight, and we'll have the new advisory right and
we will.
Forecast track on Hurricane Wilma. The CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer is up next. Good night.
Good night.
Good evening. I'm John Roberts. The case of Harriet Miers for the Supreme Court has taken a new turn as her position on abortion is revealed. We'll begin there tonight. Then we'll have these stories.
More violence threatened with Saddam Hussein about to stand trial. I'm Lara Logan in Baghdad.
Will it hold? I'm Kelly Kobiella on the frail old dam that is the only thing saving a city from catastrophe.
Birds and that virus. I'm Sheila McVicker with the reason why there's no need to panic.
And I'm Mika Brzezinski. Which one of these girls is a 38-year-old mother of 3?
This is the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
And Bob is off tonight. Many Democrats and Republicans alike have been scratching their heads about Supreme Court nominee Harriet Miers, wondering where she stands and complaining about the lack of a paper trail. Well, tonight, some paper that shows Miers' position on one of the most contentious issues she'll face at her confirmation hearing. Here's Gloria Borger.
If there was any doubt about it, today's documents make it perfectly plain. Harriet Miers opposes abortion. In 1989, Miers filled out a questionnaire from Texans United for Life. Asked if she would support a constitutional amendment banning abortion, except when needed to prevent the death of the mother, Miers' answer was yes. And would she oppose the use of public funding for abortion? The answer, another yes. The questionnaire gave some skeptical Democrats an opening to call for complete candor at her confirmation hearings.
The questionnaire means one thing, that Harriet Miers has to make clear to the American people her judicial philosophy, her ideology on a whole range of constitutional issues.
The White House points out that Miers was a Dallas City Council candidate when she filled out the form, not a candidate for the Supreme Court.
what we take that to be is a candidate expressing her views during the course of a campaign. The role of a judge is very different from the role of a candidate or a political office holder.
Myers herself, in written answers to questions submitted by the Senate Judiciary Committee, stressed her own distaste for activist judges. Humility and self-restraint require the judiciary to adhere to its limited role, she wrote, echoing John Roberts' call for humility at his confirmation hearings.
Judges have to have the humility to recognize that they operate within a system of precedent.
Myers, who ran the search for Roberts, also revealed that she declined to be considered for the first court vacancy. But the second time around, she wrote, individuals at the White House began considering me as a potential nominee without advising me. After 4 meetings with the president, she was offered the job. Myers' abortion questionnaire was welcome news for some conservatives, but it also gave Democrats the ammunition they may be looking for to oppose her. John?
The veil pulled back just ever so slightly. Gloria Borger in Capitol Hill. Gloria, thanks. You could call it the trial of the century, and in Iraq, at least, it's likely to be just that. Tomorrow, in the fortified Green Zone in the heart of Baghdad, Saddam Hussein goes on trial for one of several massacres he's accused of ordering against fellow Iraqis. If convicted, he faces the death penalty. Lara Logan is in Baghdad tonight.
Saddam Hussein will swap his prison cell for one of these cages tomorrow when he's led handcuffed and shackled into this courtroom, charged with crimes against humanity for the execution of more than 140 men in Dujail 2 decades ago. These pictures show Saddam on a visit to the town in 1982, moments before his motorcade was fired upon by Shiite gunmen. Shortly after the failed attack, Saddam promises the fearful townspeople he will only punish the traitors. But as he's leaving, Saddam is seen questioning 2 men. I'm in your party militia, this man pleads, but Saddam orders them to be kept separate and interrogated. The retribution that followed is marked at this makeshift memorial where the faces of the dead hang from the walls. For these people, the verdict on Saddam Hussein is already in. I would not control myself. I would tear him apart, this man says. But the Americans know the credibility of Iraq's new democracy is at stake here if Saddam Hussein doesn't appear to receive a fair trial. That's already impossible, says his defense attorney, because the U.S. is dictating the rules.
As far as we can see, it's all being controlled by the United States.
As Saddam did in his last court appearance in June, the defense will argue the court has no jurisdiction. They will ask for 3 more months to prepare, and the case could be adjourned on the first day. Whatever happens, it will not look like an American trial. Here it's the judge who calls and questions witnesses, and he will decide if Saddam Hussein will be allowed to speak. Saddam's outlawed Ba'ath Party has promised he will be able to hear mortars blowing up Americans in Baghdad tomorrow as a message of support to mark the start of his trial. Lara Logan, CBS News, Baghdad.
Back in this country, a threat to bomb a highway tunnel under the harbor in Baltimore led officials to close one of the city's tunnels today and restrict traffic in the other. Before the tunnels reopened 2 hours later, police and the FBI rounded up 30 people of Egyptian heritage for questioning. No one was arrested or even labeled a suspect in the case. It's now Hurricane Wilma, and Florida could be in its path. Wilma is off the coast of Central America and became the 12th hurricane of the season today, tying the all-time record. Winds are expected to reach well over 100 miles an hour. I spoke today with hurricane expert Brian Norcross of our CBS station in Miami, WFOR. So, Brian, we're out of letters on the official names for this season. What's the latest that you've got for us on Wilma here?
Wilma is strengthening in the Caribbean. All accounts are it's going to be a strong, strong hurricane, likely at least a Category 3 as it moves toward the Gulf. Here's where it is now. You see on the satellite picture, it's quite large. The circulation already occupying essentially the whole western Caribbean. And the center looks like it's going to move near the western end of Cuba into the Gulf of Mexico over the next couple days. And by the time it gets up into this area somewhere, up to the southwest of Florida, the jet stream's going to come along and kick it in the direction of Florida. So somewhere likely south of Orlando to Miami to the Keys, somewhere in that area, likely it'll come across the state on Saturday.
And what are the chances, Brian, it could come ashore as a Category 3?
That's not out of the question, John. Probably once it starts that move to the northeast, it'll weaken some, but this has the potential to be a very bad hurricane on the west coast of Florida.
Brian Norcross at WFOR for us tonight. Brian, thanks. After days of record rain in the northeast, a town in Massachusetts is on edge tonight because a dam is on the verge of failing there. It's south of Boston. Thousands of people have been warned to get out of the way in and around Taunton, just in case the dam gives way, unleashing a fast and furious flood. Kelly Kobiea is there tonight.
This is the monster knocking on the door of Taunton, Massachusetts, a rickety wooden dam nearly 175 years old. It's the only thing standing between the city and a 6-foot wall of water.
Because we're so close to the dam, they said that we had to leave today. Okay. So we had to get out. It was mandated.
2,000 people listened and left. Schools are closed, businesses are shuttered and sandbagged, and firefighters are now on an uneasy watch.
This thing goes, you know, they're in big trouble. I don't even know what it would do, the damage that would be there, you know. So you just hope and pray, that's all.
It's the second evacuation here in 7 days. The rain that soaked the northeast for more than a week has hit Taunton hard. 7 inches fell here in the past weekend alone. And after the devastating floods in parts of New Hampshire and western Massachusetts, anxiety here is running as high as the river itself.
It's the waiting to find out. You know, they said a 24 to 48 hour window, and you know, that's a long time to just be sitting around waiting.
Or evacuate.
Or evacuate.
By afternoon, the river started to settle back into its bank, relieving some of the pressure on the old dam and on the town below.
As water level decreases, it will be taking the load off the structure, and that's what everyone is looking for.
But pieces of the dam already have broken away, and people like Toby Hubin, whose business sits just below it, worry.
They have to control the dam a little bit better than what they're doing.
In light of what's happening here, Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney has ordered an emergency inspection of 180 dams like this one across the state. John?
Pretty difficult to live with that threat. Kelly Kobiea in Taunton tonight. Kelly, thanks. The flood threat tonight is bi-coastal on the west coast. Rain, wind, and hail in California sent water and mud down onto roads in Burbank. Mudslides also stopped traffic for several hours on the main interstate between northern and southern California. And the power went out for more than 140,000 homes and businesses in the state. Coming up next on tonight's CBS Evening News, how big a problem is bird flu? Some European countries are taking it seriously, maybe too seriously. That's tonight's Inside Story. But first, Bob Schieffer with this note.
CBS News honors fallen heroes. Lee Reese. He loved basketball and was a big Michael Jordan fan, a kid at heart. He liked playing with the Iraqi kids. They'd catch lizards together. When he got home, Reese planned to get a motorcycle so he could ride with his dad. He bought his mom a gold necklace just before he was killed by a roadside bomb. The gift arrived the day after his funeral.
Susan Macy is getting the advanced protection of Ester C, a vitamin C that's quickly absorbed and works for 24 hours. Advanced protection, Ester protection.
We asked people why they use Colace capsules.
My doctor recommended it.
My doctor told me.
My son told me.
Your son?
Yes, my son, the doctor.
Stimulant-free Colace capsules, the #1 stool softener brand recommended by doctors.
My name is Sarah, and I'm not an actress. I went through 2 or 3 years of not being able to sleep. I got great sheets, I had the perfect pillows. Nothing worked for me. I went to my doctor. She said, you know what, I'm gonna give you a prescription for Ambien. I tried it that night and it helped me get a good night's sleep. When you go that long without sleep, you have no idea what it's like when you finally get to sleep. I'm very happy I found Ambien.
Prescription sleep aids are most often taken for 7 to 10 days as needed, or longer as advised by your doctor. Until you know how Ambien will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Side effects may include drowsiness, dizziness, and diarrhea. You shouldn't take it with alcohol. All sleep medicines carry some risk of dependency. Memory problems can usually be avoided by taking Ambien only when you can devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep. Talk to your doctor. Ambien works like a dream.
Big news for dry, irritated eyes. Introducing new Clear Eyes for dry eyes. Your dry eyes get moisture that stays in for lasting relief. Wow. New Clear Eyes for dry eyes.
You gelling? No telling how much I'm gelling. You gelling? I'm like mud gelling. I'm so gelling. Quit yelling. We're gelling. Right.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are so soft, they make any shoe feel outrageously comfortable. Are you gelling? Dr. Scholl's.
OnStar Emergency, this is Samantha.
Send help.
Are you okay?
No, I'm having trouble breathing.
I'm going to get the emergency services on the line. Police, I'm calling from OnStar. I have a vehicle crash with airbag deployment on Highway 5.
We're going to get somebody out there. I'm just shaking so bad.
All that matters is that you're okay.
It's so nice to have OnStar. I hear an ambulance. They're here now. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
Choose a vehicle that could help save your life. Choose a vehicle with OnStar.
There was another dire pronouncement today about bird flu. Public health officials tracking the disease called the spread of bird flu from Asia to Europe, quote, a global threat. Well, that's certainly true for birds, but what's the real risk to people? Sheila McVicker has the inside story.
A thin spray of disinfectant, the front line in the fight to keep bird flu at bay. In Turkey, Romania, and now on a Greek island, thousands of birds have been culled and farms shut. After birds here sickened 2 days ago, authorities killed the rest. We've gone mad, says this farmer. I haven't slept and I'm really frightened. The fear is traveling faster than the flu and beyond any detected bird virus. Dead pigeons in Belgrade are treated as a biohazard. Italians have stopped eating chicken. All over Europe, people are lining up at pharmacies to buy a drug that might or might not work. Syria's talk shows discuss a death toll.
The top end, we read in the papers about 750,000 people dying, which would be a national catastrophe, obviously.
Yes, it would, and if that happened, it would be an international catastrophe.
Scientists say this virus, H5N1, could be the virus that sets off a global epidemic, but there's no sign of that yet. This bird flu has been around for a while, since 1997. In 7 years, just over 100 people have been infected, all of them in the Far East. Epidemiologists say cases of human-to-human transmission are extremely rare, and in most cases, the people who got sick either lived in close proximity to their birds or worked in a poultry business.
It's still mostly a bird problem, not a people problem.
Pat Thomas writes on health issues.
There's a big difference between chickens and people, and for a virus to make that jump between a chicken and a person, in other words, an egg-laying being and a non-egg-laying being, is a big jump.
Those who make dire predictions agree that if this is to mutate and become a virus that one human can give another, we're likely to see it in Asia first.
Asia will remain the genetic roulette table for influenza virus. I have no doubt about it.
So there's no room for complacency, and just as important, no reason to panic. Sheila McVicker, CBS News, London.
The San Francisco businessman whose company was the focus of the steroids and athletes scandal was sentenced to prison today for steroid distribution. Victor Conti, founder of the Balco Laboratory, will serve 4 months in prison and 4 in home confinement. 3 others, including baseball star Barry Bonds' trainer, Greg Anderson, received lesser sentences today. Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, he's worried about the war in Iraq. You might think that his classmates would be too, but are they? Our tour of the home front continues.
I was always going, having to go in the middle of traffic and just starting and stopping, having to go in the middle of a ball game and then not being able to go once I got there, and going at night, going and going. I thought I had a going problem. My doctor said I had a growing problem. It wasn't my bladder. My prostate was growing. I had an enlarging prostate. My doctor prescribed Avodart.
Most medicines only treat symptoms. Avodart, with time, actually shrinks the prostate and improves urinary symptoms.
So I can go more easily when I need to go, and go less often.
Only your doctor can tell if your symptoms are from an enlarged prostate and not a more serious condition such as prostate cancer, so have regular prostate exams. Avodart is for men only. Women should not take or handle Avodart due to the risk of a specific birth defect. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease. Rarely, sexual side effects, tenderness, or swelling of the breast can occur. Call your doctor today. Avodart for your growing problem.
My new grandson should always feel safe in my hands, arthritis, pain, or not. That's why I trust Advil. Even after 20 years, nothing has been proven more effective on tough pain. Not Tylenol, not Aleve.
Advil, fast, strong, trusted. Burning, itching, but the pain's the worst. I should have used Preparation H Cream. Burning, itching, plus maximum strength pain relief on contact. The most complete Preparation H relief ever. Preparation H Cream, pain relief on contact.
Now back to crochet today.
With your G-hook, keep those stitches loose. And soon, you'll have a nice cover for that little plastic air freshener. See?
Introducing new Glade Glass Scents, the air freshener you don't have to cover up. New Glade Glass Scents natural fragrance oils give you continuous light fragrance for 30 days. And it looks so decorative, you'd never think of covering it up.
Next week, the bunny cover.
New Glade Glass Scents, the air freshener you don't have to cover up. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
There's an easier way to get relief. Vicks Vapor Rub. Less coughing, more breathing.
The human body was designed to move, so now Serenity gently hugs your body for a closer fit than the leading protective underwear. New Serenity Discreet Activewear. You move, they move, you're protected. Serenity from Tena.
A panel appointed by President Bush put out recommendations today for overhauling and simplifying the tax code. It calls for fewer deductions, but the panel insists it would not mean higher tax bills. The mortgage deduction would be scrapped, tax brackets would be reduced from 6 to 4, the alternative minimum tax would be abolished, but so would the federal deduction for state and local taxes. And 3 new retirement savings accounts would let your money grow tax-free. We continue tonight our special series on how the war in Iraq is affecting Americans here at home. Sharon Alfonsi has been meeting people all across the country, and tonight her road tour of the home front finds her in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where we check in with her. Sharon?
John, for the last week, we've been talking to people whose lives are deeply affected by the war in Iraq. But across America, most people say the war is just not a day-to-day concern.
Go, get, go, go, go!
Friday night football in New Mexico. And wide receiver Michael Scarlett is a standout. Not just because he's Sandia High's star wide receiver, but because he's one of the few people here affected by the war in Iraq.
Because I should be enjoying high school and not worrying about things.
And you're pretty worried.
Yeah.
His dad volunteered for war duty.
Can anyone who's not going through it get what it's like to...
I guess if you had a loved one pass away, you could.
It feels like that kind of loss?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you have a father or a mother or brother or sister who's serving right now. No one.
In a school of 2,100 students, only Michael and one other kid have parents serving in the war.
Are most of you affected by the war on a day-to-day basis at all?
No. It's not the topic of conversation.
For them, the war is worlds away. They have other concerns. Homecoming and homework.
As X approaches 4.
Ken Meyer teaches at Sandia.
Kids on my block went to Vietnam and didn't come home. You really watched the draft numbers.
But this war only touches those who choose it. So like a lot of places in America, life just goes on here. A laid-back Southwest city that's staying that way. For Michael, that means carrying the burden of his father's sacrifice largely alone. His little brother has cerebral palsy.
My brother Jacob, he's in a wheelchair, so now I have to step up to the plate and fill in for my dad.
He's hoping he won't have to fill in forever.
You got that little thing in the back of your head that something could happen to your dad.
And he doesn't want him on the front lines.
Well, you'd rather see Dad on the sideline, huh?
Yeah. I love my dad, very much, and I hope he's safe.
And some of the kids we spoke to say now that Michael's dad is headed to Iraq, they're going to watch the news a little more closely, but they won't take it home with them. Michael will. John?
Well, what does Michael feel about the war himself?
Well, he says he disagrees with the war and doesn't think we should be over there. He feels like too many people are dying. On the same hand, he supports all the soldiers and says he is very proud of his father.
And where does the tour take you to tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're headed to Arizona, where we're going to meet a woman who lost her son in the war, and we're going to show you what she's doing to make sure that no one forgets about that.
All right, we'll see you then. Sharon, thanks very much. Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, she has a full-time job raising 3 children, but wait until you see the part-time job she has on the weekend.
When gas prices soared, the CBS News Price Patrol went cross-country to gauge the impact.
And you've got gas prices spiking big time.
As the war on terror continues, we set out on a 2-week road tour to see what Americans on the home front were thinking.
I just hope he makes it back okay.
The CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer, going the distance to stay in touch with America.
Hello, DHL. How may I help you?
This is Frank from Beecroft Golf. Did our courier leave yet?
On his way.
Is there any way we can change the pickup to our downtown plant for the next couple of days?
Shut the power down!
No problem. Changing shipping for the next 2 days to the downtown plant.
And make it a week.
I'm on it.
Customer service is back in shipping. Call us and we'll show you how we're changing the way the shipping business does business.
Lunesta. People everywhere are discovering it. What are you waiting for? Talk to your doctor to see if Lunesta could make a difference for you.
Let me plant this thought with you. If you're a woman like me, it's a good idea to talk to your doctor about prescription Actonel. A-C-T-O-N-E-L. Act now and fight back with Actonel.
They say it truly exists, so we seek it out. A miracle food that nourishes the mind and body. And we call it the egg.
There's more good news for those with arthritis pain. According to a recent survey, orthopedic doctors prefer Aleve over other leading brands for effective relief of minor arthritis pain. Ask your doctor about the good news. Ask your doctor about Aleve.
Finally, a denture adhesive with no messy ooze.
Announcing Polygrip Strips. These slim strips are pre-measured to give you a neat, clean seal with all the hold of a cream. New Polygrip Strips holds all day in a neat new way.
If you were my sister, I would say you should know your breast cancer could come back.
You should know how to fight it.
You should know there are treatments that can help reduce that risk significantly.
Learn about those treatments, I would say.
Decide on them with your doctor.
If you were my sister, I would say you should know you have options.
If you were my sister, I would say there are many reasons to be optimistic.
15 years, I'm still here. Hello?
You've waited, you've dreamed, and now it's finally back. Endless Shrimp at Red Lobster. The only time of year to enjoy all the shrimp you can eat. Don't miss Endless Shrimp right now, only at Red Lobster.
Tomorrow, it may be the best family vacation ever, but what will happen next on The Amazing Race? The latest family to get tossed. We'll tell you where they went wrong on The Early Show.
In health news tonight, the risk of dying from surgery to treat obesity may be a lot higher than previously believed. Until now, the given death rate within a year of surgery was 1%, but a new study finds it's more like 5% for men and 3% for women. A couple of the leading causes of death: surgical complications and malnutrition. We end tonight with a reminder that you should never stop reaching for your dreams. CBS News correspondent Mika Brzezinski has a story we call The Pom Pom Mom.
And get moving for breakfast.
At the crack of dawn, Molly Shattuck already has her hands full.
Here we go.
3 kids keep her on the move.
Have a great day.
And on her toes.
It's beautiful, Lillian.
Like so many, this busy wife and mother has a daily routine.
Some what, honey?
Only Molly's routine rocks, shakes, and sizzles. At 38 years old, Molly Shattuck is a Baltimore Ravens cheerleader.
15 years older than the team's average and the only mom.
Why would you choose to be a cheerleader? Because it was on my list and it was still inside of me to do it.
Growing up in a small town and the first in her family to go to college, Molly always wanted more. So as a high school senior, she came up with this top 10 to-do list in life, which 20 years and 3 kids later has grown from 10 to 50 goals. NFL cheerleader, check. 18-year-old Alyssa Helfenbein is the youngest on the squad and 20 years Molly's junior.
I don't even know how we got in the conversation, but she said she was 38, and I was like, oh. No, you're not.
So you didn't believe
You're like
her.
24. Yeah, oh my God.
You had no confidence issues about being a 38-year-old mother of 3 jumping around with a bunch of 20-year-old cheerleaders?
Honest to goodness, it never even crossed my mind when I went to the tryout. I was focused on doing the best job that I personally could do.
Is there a lesson here about this list?
Get out and live and do things that are important to you individually. No one can come up with that list except for you.
So the list is sort of your roadmap.
It's my roadmap to life.
Though she's already checked off running a marathon, working on Capitol Hill, learning to play the piano, there's still...
Climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I want to go on a polar bear expedition.
I can't find anything wrong with her.
And the list, just like Molly, goes on.
History class, painting class.
Mika Brzezinski, CBS News, Baltimore.
No desperate housewife there. And that's the CBS Evening News for this Tuesday. Bob Schieffer will be back again tomorrow. I'm John Roberts in New York. Thanks for making CBS your choice for news. Have a good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on cbsnews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart. The Walmart price, saving you money on the things you need every day. Tracking Wilma. Complete coverage and the latest forecast tomorrow. Experience CBS News.
Every 2 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer.
That's why the Gillette Company has made a corporate commitment to the health and well-being of its local communities. Gillette's website is an important part of this commitment. This website is designed to connect you to the tools you need to learn more about cancer or to help you through your cancer journey. For more information, please log on to GilletteCancerConnect.org. Be sure to pick up these and other Gillette products